Well, we found a
Holy
couple
moly.
of things here.
Look at this.
I brought out the coroner's report for that time period.
Start in the middle. I jumped to 1901.
Yeah, 1901.
Here's November.
Well, you hit it right.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Joseph Sudeikis. So what is, okay, oh, name of the deceased. Explosion of gas. To know it for certain that he died, you know, when Stanley Sr. was very, very young. I mean, you could say that he didn't know him at all, really.
It's an extremely difficult lifestyle for people at that time period.
So I'm returning to my hotel to research my family's roots, starting with their immigration from Lithuania to the United States. I have New York passenger lists, 1820 to 1957. Click on that. And now Stanley Sudeikis, Lithuania. Looks like August 25th, 1900, Stanislaw, AKA Stanley Sr., 8 years old. Looks like he was traveling with Mariana Sudeikis, who was 16, so I'm going to assume his sister. Whether going to join a relative, if so, what relative? Father Joseph. So, okay, so Joseph must have traveled ahead and brought his family once he'd gotten settled. So then to know if Stanley Sr. actually did meet up with him, I guess we could check the census, see if he's listed with his father in 1900. All right, so Joseph Sudeikis, head of the household. Underneath that, Mary, listed as wife. Oh boy, how many kids we got here? 8, holy moly. Slasia, I went with one of those hippie names for the little girl. Wait a minute, we have no Stanley listed. Maybe he wasn't there yet? Okay, so this was June 11th of 1900. The passenger list that I looked at is actually from August, so that's why Stanley Sr. would not be listed as a family member yet. This was in Mahanoy Township in Pennsylvania. So Joseph, they had listed as a coal miner. My great-great-grandfather being a coal miner. I know nothing about that world. So in order to find out a little bit more about Joseph, then I would need to go to Pennsylvania, miner country.
Jason Sudeikis just arrived in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to investigate his great-great-grandfather's life in mining country.
The census from 1900 showed that Joseph was a coal miner in Mahanoy Township. So I'm hoping that learning about his work will give me a real sense of what kind of man he actually was. I'm meeting with historian Stu Richards, an expert in coal mining, during the time that Joseph worked. Well, I had just found out that my great-great-grandfather, Joseph Sudeikis, had come over from Lithuania to Pennsylvania to work in the coal mines.
Men, like your great-great-grandfather, would have left by himself and arrived here in,
Right.
the anthracite region looking for work.
Oh, would they leave Lithuania going, we're on our way to Pennsylvania, America?
It depends. A lot of times the coal barons had recruiters that they sent to Europe looking for strong people,
Yeah.
because coal mining is an extremely hard type of job, probably the hardest job that at the time period. He could make a living for himself, and at one point he could bring his family over bit by bit.
In the 1880s, America's coal industry was booming, fueled by the Industrial Revolution. Near the turn of the 20th century, recruiters lured thousands of Eastern Europeans to the U.S. as a source of cheap labor. While Lithuanians like Joseph came to escape economic hardship and political oppression at home, work in the coal mines was backbreaking and dangerous. Men and boys worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day in the grim confines of the mines. Accidents were commonplace, rescue difficult, and many died underground.
Do you know where Joseph might have worked?
There were 2 or 3 big collieries in the Mahanoy area that he could have possibly worked at. And we can go look through the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration website.
All right.
Up here in the search engine there, you can put in Mahanoy.
His job was listed as coal miner. When I saw the 1900 census, oh, here you go, November 9th, 1900. Monterey City, Pennsylvania. 7 died in an explosion. That's the only thing listed for that city. Wondering if any of those 7 people that died in that might have shared my same last name.
Well, we found a
Holy
couple
moly.
of things here.
Look at this.
I brought out the coroner's report for that time period.
Start in the middle. I jumped to 1901.
Yeah, 1901.
Here's November.
Well, you hit it right.
Oh yeah, look at that. Joseph Sudeikis. So what is, okay, oh, name of the deceased. Explosion of gas. To know it for certain that he died, when Stanley Sr. was very, very young. I mean, you could say that he didn't know him at all, really.
It's an extremely difficult lifestyle for people at that time period.
How did anybody make it through?
The best thing that I think we can do is I can take you down into a mine that was operating at the same time, and show you exactly what happened and where he would have been working in the exact type of environment. Okay,
Well,
let's go.
Let's do it. I think it's incredibly sad that my great-great-grandfather died in a coal mine while trying to make a better life for his family. I'm hoping to get a better understanding of what Joseph faced in the days and ultimately the minutes right before his untimely death. You're going to put me 400, 500 feet underground?
Yes, inside, about a quarter mile inside the mountain. It would have been this dark, basically, without with our headlamps. It's making it a little bit more modern lighting, but at the time, the whole environment would be this way. Now, the problem is, we have a lot of light here. We're working with these lamps here.
Yeah.
This is exactly what your great-grandfather would have worn. This hat, this is an original old miner's hat. We can't light it here in the mine for safety reasons, but this was a little lamp, and it just burned. So it has a flame about that high on it when it is burning. And this is what creates the problem. November 9th, what happened was Joseph, we could say, was working up here in this chute.
Sure.
A fellow by the name of Gallagher.
Yeah.
He goes to the chute down there, which was closed off. He went without permission with a naked lamp. He stuck his head right into a pocket of gas.
Boom.
A horrendous explosion, beyond belief, came roaring down through every orifice in the mine.
It's like you're inside the bomb.
Yeah, it would have been horrendous. To hurl men
Left
20,
and right,
30 feet away, it had to be a tremendous explosion. And then that gas, the ball of fire is completely encased in this general area.
And this kind of stuff happened
on a regular basis.
I can't imagine suffering this much in this job while alive, much less dying from it.
Any miner that goes underground puts his life in the hands of his skill and Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And it's very, very tough.
The way the story is unfolded to me is that my grandfather, who passed away when my father was 2, died homeless. He didn't pay child support at all because he refused to work. So then to think that Joseph, who did above and beyond, stayed with the family, forged ahead into this new world to make a better life, just wasn't around long enough to prove that example, one could say, because it broke down here.